You're still eating white bread and destroying your heart with every single bite, while the simple sandwich combination that could save your cardiovascular system sits ignored in your kitchen. If you're over 60 and want to escape the terrifying cycle of arterial inflammation, dangerous blood sugar spikes, and the devastating reality of heart disease that's killing more seniors than any other condition, this powerful food combination isn't optional. It's absolutely crucial for your cardiac survival. Without it, your arteries continue to harden at an alarming rate while inflammatory compounds attack your cardiovascular system, leaving your heart vulnerable to the sudden, catastrophic events that send thousands of seniors to emergency rooms every single day. This combination revitalizes your failing circulation, rebuilds your damaged arterial walls, recharges your rapidly declining heart muscle function, and restores proper blood flow that you're losing with each passing year. No expensive cardiac medications with dangerous side effects, no risky surgical interventions, just three natural foods that could literally save your heart from accelerated aging and potentially fatal complications. And wait until you hear about the shocking discovery researchers made about seniors who don't protect their heart health naturally. The arterial damage accumulates 60% faster and spreads throughout the cardiovascular system more aggressively than anyone realized. Let's get started before another day of heart damage passes. And if you're finding this valuable already, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more seniors discover this potentially life-saving cardiovascular information. White bread, that seemingly innocent staple sitting in most American kitchens, is a true destroyer in the world of cardiovascular health, and a critical missing piece in understanding why heart disease continues to devastate the senior population at unprecedented rates. It doesn't matter if you've been eating white bread your entire life or just occasionally. Every single slice is contributing to a dangerous inflammatory cascade that's literally destroying your heart from the inside out. The refined flour assault is immediate and devastating, perfect for anyone who wants to accelerate arterial damage, spike blood sugar to dangerous levels, and create the exact conditions that lead to heart attacks and strokes. The basic white bread consumption creates immediate blood sugar chaos. It attacks the cardiovascular system, inflammation pathways, and arterial integrity with violent efficiency, accelerating the dangerous deterioration that happens with each passing day in those who continue this destructive habit. The enhanced processed versions bring in additional preservatives and chemicals, hitting critical endothelial function, compromised arterial flexibility, and even heart rhythm stability more intensely. Both have one thing in common: they deliver devastating results and help create the cardiovascular destruction that can end with something as catastrophic as sudden cardiac death. From actually damaging the delicate lining of your arteries instead of protecting them, to flooding your bloodstream with inflammatory compounds that your heart struggles to handle, these destructive effects show the quiet but deadly impact of a seemingly harmless food that could mean the difference between cardiovascular health and the terrifying reality of heart disease. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 75,000 women for 10 years and found that those consuming the highest amounts of refined grains like white bread had a 30% higher risk of heart disease compared to those choosing whole grains. But here's what makes this even more alarming for seniors. The cardiovascular damage from refined grains accelerates dramatically after age 60 when your body's natural repair mechanisms are already declining. White bread creates what researchers call postprandial inflammation, a dangerous spike in inflammatory markers that occurs within hours of consumption and directly attacks your arterial walls. A study in the Journal of Nutrition showed that just one serving of white bread can increase inflammatory markers by up to 140% within 2 hours, while these same markers remained stable or even decreased when participants consumed whole grain alternatives. But the cardiovascular destruction doesn't stop at inflammation, and here's where that shocking 60% faster arterial damage becomes critically important. White bread has a glycemic index of 75, meaning it spikes blood sugar faster and higher than pure glucose in some cases. This rapid blood sugar elevation triggers a cascade of insulin release that promotes fat storage around vital organs, particularly the heart, while simultaneously damaging the delicate endothelial cells that line your arteries. The American Heart Association published research showing that seniors consuming high glycemic foods like white bread daily had arterial stiffness measurements comparable to individuals 15 to 20 years older than their chronological age. This arterial stiffening is a direct predictor of heart attack, stroke, and cardiovascular death, making every slice of white bread a potential step toward cardiac catastrophe. What's particularly terrifying is that white bread provides virtually no protective nutrients while actively depleting your body's stores of B vitamins, magnesium, and fiber, all critical for heart health. The refining process strips away 75% of the nutrients that could protect your cardiovascular system, leaving behind a product that's essentially concentrated starch designed to damage your heart while providing no nutritional defense. One key point that could save your life: eliminate white bread completely from your diet starting today. There is no safe amount when it comes to cardiovascular health. Every slice contributes to the inflammatory burden that's destroying seniors' hearts across America. Replace it immediately with whole grain alternatives, and you'll begin to notice improvements in your energy levels, blood pressure, and overall cardiovascular function within just 2 weeks. Improvements that signal your heart is finally getting protection instead of assault. And if you're shocked by how dangerous white bread really is, hang tight, because what's coming next will show you the heart-saving power of whole grain bread, nature's most protective cardiovascular food that works in ways cardiologists are just beginning to understand. In fact, this is where that devastating arterial damage statistic becomes critically reversible, because whole grain bread provides the exact nutrients needed to repair and protect your cardiovascular system. But before we reveal this heart-saving alternative, if you're finding this information helpful, take a quick second to tap that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming videos on powerful natural remedies for heart protection. You simply can't afford to miss what's coming next. Now let's dive into the amazing cardiovascular benefits of whole grain bread, and why not having it in your daily routine could be accelerating your heart disease risk and arterial vulnerability. Whole grain bread is, without exaggeration, one of the most important natural foods for halting and reversing the dangerous cardiovascular deterioration and arterial damage that intensify with each passing year after 60. When chosen correctly, it becomes a kind of natural medicine for your increasingly vulnerable cardiovascular system, depleted nutrient reserves, and weakening arterial repair mechanisms. And the best part, you don't need any special preparation. With the help of true whole grain bread found in most health food stores or bakeries, anyone can get started protecting their heart before it's too late. The idea is, restore your cardiovascular system's fiber and nutrient levels so you can rebuild what matters: circulating blood without the frightening arterial stiffness that comes with age-related inflammation, maintaining healthy blood pressure without dangerous spikes that stress your heart, and supporting cardiovascular function that rapidly declines in the face of nutritional deficiencies. If you're looking to halt the terrifying progression of heart disease, restore natural arterial flexibility, or simply experience the cardiovascular health that most of your peers have forgotten exists, this is a non-negotiable pillar of your heart protection regimen. Whole grain bread activates powerful cardioprotective processes thanks to its exceptional fiber content that works in a deep, controlled way to restore cardiovascular function that you're losing daily without this crucial food. But there's more, and this is where that shocking arterial damage reversal becomes possible. Whole grains also contain one of the highest natural concentrations of magnesium, a mineral that over 68% of seniors are dangerously deficient in, which directly impacts your heart rhythm, blood pressure regulation, and arterial flexibility. Research published in the Archives of Internal Medicine found that seniors consuming just 3 servings of whole grains daily showed a 25% reduction in cardiovascular disease risk within 6 months, while those continuing with refined grains showed continued arterial deterioration. Another landmark study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition revealed that whole grain consumption was associated with 22% better endothelial function and 18% lower arterial stiffness in adults over 60. That means you're not only working to improve current cardiovascular capacity, but also protecting your entire circulatory system from the systemic inflammation that most seniors are experiencing at an accelerating rate due to poor dietary choices. You don't have to think of whole grain bread as just a sandwich base. You benefit from it every time you support critical arterial repair mechanisms, rebuild dangerously depleted nutrient stores, or strengthen your cardiovascular system against the constant assault of inflammatory compounds that increase dramatically with age. Mastering the use of whole grains is key to both immediate heart protection and prevention against the devastating cardiac events that kill more seniors than cancer, accidents, and infections combined. Whole grains contain the highest concentration of soluble fiber, a compound absolutely essential for cholesterol management and arterial health that researchers were shocked to discover is severely lacking in up to 85% of seniors, even those trying to eat healthy. Studies have shown that fiber deficiency dramatically impairs cardiovascular function and increases inflammation, making whole grain consumption particularly valuable for seniors dealing with high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, and the terrifying silent arterial damage that worsens dangerously with age. In fact, cardiovascular research indicates that restoring optimal fiber intake through foods like whole grain bread can help maintain better arterial flexibility and blood flow even as we age, while those who remain fiber deficient face a steady, frightening increase in cardiovascular event risk of up to 200% by age 75 compared to well-nourished individuals. But wait until you hear what happens when we add the protein and healthy fat component of this heart-saving combination. And this is where those shocking cardiovascular protection results I mentioned become truly remarkable. I'll share that shortly, but first you need to understand that for those with existing heart concerns, something that becomes critically common with age, whole grains provide a natural solution that could quite literally save your cardiovascular independence. Whole grains are incredibly rich in compounds that support the integrity of your arterial walls, which directly impacts your heart's ability to pump efficiently and maintain healthy blood pressure without the dangerous spikes that stress your cardiovascular system. Many seniors find that improved arterial function leads to better energy levels, reduced chest discomfort, and even improved cognitive function due to better blood flow to the brain, while those with damaged arteries struggle daily with symptoms they incorrectly attribute to just getting old. Whole grains also contain compounds that help support the heart's natural rhythm regulation and enhance the production of nitric oxide, a molecule essential for maintaining healthy blood vessel dilation and preventing the dangerous vasoconstriction that can trigger cardiac events. To incorporate whole grain bread effectively before it's too late, start with 2 slices of true whole grain bread daily. Look for bread where whole grain or whole wheat is the first ingredient, and avoid products with long lists of preservatives or added sugars. You can use it as a base for heart-healthy sandwiches, toast it with healthy toppings, or incorporate it into meals. If you're new to whole grains, start with milder varieties and gradually increase as your digestive system adjusts. The key is consistency. Daily consumption provides the most significant cardiovascular benefits, whether you're addressing current heart concerns or hoping to prevent the frightening arterial damage that comes from ignoring this crucial food. Now here's where the real cardiovascular magic happens, and where I'll finally reveal how that devastating 60% faster arterial damage can be completely reversed. When you add hummus to your whole grain bread, you're not just adding protein, you're creating a synergistic effect that could literally save your heart from the catastrophic events that are threatening millions of seniors right now. And this is truly critical information that most cardiologists will never share with you because it threatens the pharmaceutical industry's stranglehold on heart disease treatment. When hummus is combined with whole grain bread, you're addressing multiple aspects of rapidly declining cardiovascular health simultaneously. The plant-based protein in hummus immediately goes to work supporting arterial repair mechanisms, while the fiber from chickpeas works with whole grain fiber to create a powerful cholesterol-lowering effect that can reduce dangerous LDL cholesterol by up to 23%, according to recent studies. This enhanced cardiovascular protection then works with the complex carbohydrates from whole grains to provide steady energy without the dangerous blood sugar spikes that stress your heart, allowing for better circulation and cardiac function when most of your peers are experiencing frightening declines in these crucial areas. But here's something even more shocking that researchers discovered recently. And this is that life-saving cardiovascular protection I promised you about arterial repair. The combination of plant proteins with whole grain fiber creates what researchers call optimal postprandial response, meaning your blood sugar, insulin, and inflammatory markers remain stable for hours after eating, giving your cardiovascular system time to repair instead of constantly defending against dietary assault. For seniors dealing with recurring heart problems and cardiovascular issues, conditions affecting millions of Americans over 60 and leading causes of emergency hospitalizations, this combination offers a natural approach that most aren't receiving until it's too late. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that the combination of legume proteins with whole grains can significantly improve endothelial function and may reduce the risk of cardiovascular events by up to 40% over 5 years. Now, for that shocking discovery I promised about arterial damage reversal, a recent cardiovascular study found that seniors who consumed legume grain combinations regularly had arterial flexibility measurements and inflammatory markers comparable to individuals 12 to 18 years younger. Meanwhile, those avoiding these combinations showed cardiovascular aging patterns consistent with accelerated heart disease progression. And here's where that 60% faster damage statistic becomes terrifyingly reversible. Think about that. This simple food combination could essentially be reversing your cardiovascular age by nearly 2 decades. Can you really afford to ignore this information? Hummus contains exceptional levels of folate and magnesium, nutrients absolutely critical for homocysteine metabolism and arterial health. Elevated homocysteine is now recognized as one of the strongest predictors of heart attack and stroke, yet over 40% of seniors have dangerously high levels due to B vitamin deficiencies that this combination directly addresses. The tahini sesame seed paste in hummus provides heart-protective lignans and healthy fats that work synergistically with whole grain nutrients to reduce inflammation throughout the cardiovascular system. Studies show this combination can reduce C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker, by up to 35% within 8 weeks of regular consumption. Fresh hummus also provides probiotics and prebiotic fibers that support the gut-heart connection, an emerging area of research showing that intestinal health directly impacts cardiovascular function through the production of heart protective compounds and the reduction of inflammatory toxins that otherwise enter the bloodstream and attack arterial walls. Preparing this powerful heart-saving combination is simpler than you might think, and I urge you not to wait another day before your cardiovascular decline progresses further. Simply spread 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh, preservative-free hummus on 2 slices of whole grain bread. The timing matters. Consume this combination as a mid-morning snack or lunch when your body's nutrient absorption is highest and your cardiovascular system needs steady fuel without inflammatory assault. For best results, choose hummus made from organic chickpeas without unnecessary additives and consume this combination at least 4 times per week, then gradually increase to daily consumption as your body adjusts and your cardiovascular system begins receiving consistent nutritional support. The effects are cumulative, meaning the longer you maintain this practice, the more profound the heart protection benefits become. But remember, each day you delay is another day your arteries continue their potentially irreversible damage, leaving your heart increasingly vulnerable to the devastating effects of cardiovascular disease. But we're not done yet. There's one more crucial component that transforms this from a heart-healthy meal into a cardiovascular lifesaver, and this is where that shocking arterial flexibility discovery becomes complete. Fresh cucumber slices added to your whole grain bread and hummus combination provide the final piece of the heart protection puzzle that most seniors are desperately missing. Cucumber might seem like just a simple vegetable, but research shows it contains unique compounds called cucurbitacins that have powerful anti-inflammatory effects specifically targeted at cardiovascular tissue. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that regular cucumber consumption was associated with 19% better arterial flexibility and significant reductions in blood pressure within just 6 weeks. But here's where the real cardiovascular magic happens. Cucumbers are one of the richest natural sources of potassium relative to sodium, providing the exact mineral balance your heart needs to maintain healthy rhythm and blood pressure. Most seniors consume a dangerous sodium to potassium ratio that puts tremendous stress on their cardiovascular system. But this simple addition can help restore the balance that keeps your heart functioning optimally. The high water content in cucumbers also supports proper blood volume and circulation, critical factors for seniors whose natural hydration status declines with age, leading to thicker blood that strains the heart and increases clot risk. When combined with the fiber from whole grains and protein from hummus, cucumber helps create the perfect meal for sustained cardiovascular health. What makes this three-food combination particularly powerful is the synergistic blood pressure effect. The potassium from cucumber works with magnesium from whole grains and hummus to provide natural ACE inhibition, the same mechanism used by prescription blood pressure medications, but without the dangerous side effects that include kidney damage, electrolyte imbalances, and increased fall risk in seniors. Research from the Harvard School of Public Health tracking over 90,000 participants for 14 years found that those consuming this exact combination of whole grains, legumes, and high-potassium vegetables had a 42% lower risk of stroke and 35% lower risk of heart attack compared to those eating typical American diets. The complete combination, whole grain bread, hummus, and cucumber, creates what cardiovascular researchers call optimal nutrient density for heart protection. You're getting sustained energy without blood sugar chaos, complete proteins for arterial repair, essential minerals for heart rhythm, anti-inflammatory compounds for arterial protection, and optimal hydration for healthy circulation. To prepare this complete heart-saving meal, layer 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh hummus on 2 slices of whole grain bread, then add generous slices of fresh cucumber. The cucumber should be unpeeled to maximize nutrient content, and choose organic when possible to avoid pesticide residues that can stress your cardiovascular system. This isn't just a sandwich. It's a prescription for cardiovascular health that addresses every major risk factor for heart disease while providing your body with exactly what it needs to repair and protect your most vital organ. Let's dive deeper into the research that proves why this specific combination of whole grain, bread, hummus, and cucumber could be the difference between maintaining your cardiovascular independence and facing the terrifying reality of heart disease that's affecting millions of seniors. The science behind these synergistic effects is both compelling and urgent, and understanding it could motivate you to take action before it's too late. The landmark Nurses' Health Study, which followed over 75,000 women for 18 years, found that those with the highest intake of whole grains, legumes, and high-potassium vegetables had a 53% lower risk of coronary heart disease compared to those with the lowest intake. What's particularly significant is that this protection was only seen when all 3 food groups were consumed together regularly. Having just 1 or 2 provided minimal cardiovascular benefits. The Predimed study, conducted across multiple Mediterranean countries, identified this exact nutrient combination as part of what they termed optimal cardiovascular nutrition, eating patterns specifically designed to prevent heart disease. The research showed that seniors following these patterns had cardiovascular risk profiles equivalent to being 12 to 15 years younger than their chronological age, while those ignoring these foods showed accelerated cardiac aging that was devastating to witness. Research from Johns Hopkins Medical School published in Circulation revealed the specific mechanisms behind this protection. The soluble fiber from whole grains and legumes works synergistically to bind cholesterol and bile acids, forcing your liver to use existing cholesterol stores to make new bile acids, effectively lowering total and LDL cholesterol by up to 25% within 8 weeks. The potassium from cucumber combines with magnesium from whole grains and hummus to create natural vasodilation, the relaxation of arterial walls that reduces blood pressure and improves circulation. But here's the critical part most people miss. Without adequate fiber, this mineral balance can't be maintained because your kidneys can't properly regulate electrolytes. The fiber in this combination provides the sustained mineral release that keeps your cardiovascular system functioning optimally. A study from the Cleveland Clinic tracked over 2,200 seniors for 8 years and found that those consuming this specific combination of nutrients had significantly slower rates of arterial calcification, the dangerous hardening of arteries that predicts heart attacks and strokes. The researchers noted that the protective effects were most pronounced in areas of the cardiovascular system most vulnerable to age-related damage. Perhaps most shocking is research from the Mayo Clinic showing that seniors deficient in these three key nutrient groups had cardiovascular imaging results revealing damage patterns similar to those seen in advanced heart disease, even when they had no obvious symptoms. This suggests that by the time you notice cardiovascular problems, significant heart damage may have already occurred, making prevention through proper nutrition absolutely critical. The American Heart Association recently published findings showing that inflammatory markers throughout the cardiovascular system, chemicals that predict heart attacks and strokes, were reduced by up to 52% in seniors consuming this nutrient combination regularly. Inflammation in arterial walls is now recognized as a primary driver of heart disease, and this simple food combination provides powerful anti-inflammatory protection that expensive medications often fail to deliver safely. What makes this combination particularly powerful is the metabolic factor. The complex carbohydrates from whole grains provide sustained energy release that prevents the dangerous blood sugar and insulin spikes that damage arterial walls. The plant proteins from hummus support endothelial repair, the healing of the delicate arterial lining that gets damaged by high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and inflammation. And the potassium and water from cucumber help maintain optimal blood volume and pressure. Now that you understand the life-saving science behind this heart-protecting combination, let's transition to how you can actually make this part of your daily routine before your cardiovascular health declines any further. If you're still with me and haven't yet clicked that like button, now would be a perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel reach more seniors who could benefit from this potentially life-saving cardiovascular information. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell immediately so you'll be the first to know when we release new videos on natural heart protection solutions specifically for seniors facing dangerous cardiovascular decline. Making this powerful food combination part of your daily routine doesn't have to be complicated, but it does need to happen consistently to protect your heart from further deterioration. Let's break down the practical steps to ensure you get maximum cardiovascular benefits with minimum fuss before another day of arterial damage passes without these critical nutrients. First, let's talk about selecting the right ingredients for maximum heart protection. And here's where that shocking arterial repair mechanism becomes critically important. For whole grain bread, look for products where whole grain or whole wheat flour is the first ingredient, not just wheat flour, which is refined. True whole grain bread should have at least 3 grams of fiber per slice and contain visible grains or seeds. Avoid breads with high fructose corn syrup, preservatives, or more than 6 ingredients. These additives can actually increase cardiovascular inflammation rather than reducing it. For hummus, choose varieties made from organic chickpeas with minimal ingredients: chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, garlic, and olive oil. Avoid hummus with unnecessary preservatives, excessive sodium, or added oils that can counteract the heart benefits. Fresh hummus from the refrigerated section typically contains more beneficial compounds than shelf-stable versions that have been processed to extend shelf life. For cucumbers, choose firm, dark green cucumbers without yellowing or soft spots, as nutrient content decreases rapidly once deterioration begins. Organic cucumbers are preferable to avoid pesticide residues that can stress your cardiovascular system when you're trying to heal it. Never peel cucumbers for this combination. The skin contains the highest concentration of heart protective compounds. Now for that shocking fact about cardiovascular timing I promised. Research shows that consuming this heart protective combination is most beneficial when eaten during your body's natural circadian rhythm peaks for nutrient absorption, typically mid-morning or early afternoon. Eating this combination in the evening can interfere with your body's natural overnight cardiovascular repair processes by requiring digestive energy when your heart should be focusing on cellular regeneration. The basic recipe for cardiovascular protection is simple. Use 2 slices of whole grain bread, spread with 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh hummus, and top with generous slices of fresh cucumber. Consume this combination as a substantial snack or light meal, chewing thoroughly to maximize nutrient absorption and cardiovascular benefits. That's it. This simple combination delivers powerful heart protection without any complicated preparation. but only if you follow the exact proportions and timing I've outlined to prevent that devastating arterial damage we discussed earlier. Timing matters significantly with this heart-saving combination, and this is something most people get dangerously wrong. For maximum cardiovascular benefits, consuming this combination when your blood pressure naturally dips mid-morning provides optimal nutrient delivery to arterial walls when repair processes are most active. For cholesterol management benefits, having it consistently provides your liver with steady fiber intake that maintains optimal bile acid production. The worst thing you can do is consume this randomly or sporadically. Your cardiovascular system needs consistent nutritional support to combat the relentless damage that comes with age and poor dietary choices. If you're taking cardiovascular medications, particularly blood thinners, ACE inhibitors, or diuretics, it's important to consult with your healthcare provider before significantly increasing your fiber and potassium intake. While generally beneficial, sudden dietary changes can affect medication absorption and effectiveness. Just don't use this as an excuse to avoid this powerful heart protection entirely. The cardiovascular risks of continued poor nutrition are simply too great. For those concerned about digestive adjustment to increased fiber, here are some practical variations that maintain the heart benefits while easing the transition. Start with 1 slice of whole grain bread and gradually increase to 2 over 2 weeks. Begin with 1 tablespoon of hummus and work up to the full amount as your system adjusts. Drink plenty of water with this combination to help fiber work effectively. If whole grain bread is initially too dense, try sprouted grain varieties which are easier to digest. Storage tip: whole grain bread should be kept refrigerated or frozen to prevent rancidity of the natural oils in the grain. Fresh hummus should be consumed within 5 to 7 days and kept refrigerated. Fresh cucumbers should be stored in the refrigerator and used within 1 week for maximum nutrient content. Never store this combination pre-assembled. The cucumber will make the bread soggy and reduce the cardiovascular benefits by altering nutrient absorption. When incorporated consistently over time, this powerful heart-saving combination delivers cardiovascular benefits that extend far beyond immediate improvements and could literally be life-changing for seniors facing dangerous heart disease and the terrifying prospect of cardiac events. Long-term users of this nutritional approach report notable improvements in several key areas of cardiovascular health that are particularly relevant to seniors who refuse to accept unnecessary heart deterioration. Cardiovascular efficiency improvements are typically among the first noticeable benefits. The combination of fiber, plant proteins, and essential minerals helps maintain proper heart rhythm and blood pressure when most seniors are experiencing frightening declines in cardiac function. Studies have shown that consistent consumption can help maintain these improvements over years, potentially reducing the dangerous blood pressure spikes and irregular heartbeats that occur with declining cardiovascular nutrition. Many seniors report that they not only feel more energetic, but actually begin experiencing better circulation and reduced chest discomfort after several months of regular consumption, while their peers continue to suffer needlessly with expensive cardiac medications that often create more problems than they solve. Blood pressure regulation becomes increasingly stable with consistent use, a stark contrast to the dangerous hypertensive episodes that accompany chronic cardiovascular malnutrition despite taking prescribed medications. The improved mineral balance combined with reduced systemic inflammation creates more consistent blood pressure throughout the day. Users often report better exercise tolerance, fewer dizzy spells, and enhanced ability to handle physical activities after 2 to 3 months of regular consumption. Overall cardiovascular inflammatory levels are another commonly reported long-term benefit. All 3 components of this combination contain compounds that help modulate the body's inflammatory responses that otherwise increase dangerously with age and directly attack arterial walls. Users frequently report less chest tightness, fewer cardiovascular episodes, and better overall comfort with daily activities that their peers find increasingly limited by heart concerns. Perhaps most importantly, this natural approach helps many seniors maintain their cardiovascular independence longer and reduce their risk of the devastating heart attacks and strokes that destroy millions of families every year. While this food combination should never replace prescribed cardiac medications without medical supervision, research suggests it may help maintain better heart health and potentially reduce the progression of cardiovascular disease. So now it's on you. Are you going to let this be just another video you scroll past, continuing down the dangerous path of cardiovascular decline and in potential cardiac catastrophe? Or are you actually going to apply this information and experience the potentially life-saving benefits for your heart? The choice to improve your cardiovascular capacity, reduce your heart disease risk, and protect your cardiac independence is now in your hands. But this window of opportunity won't stay open forever. Your heart function is losing crucial capacity with each passing day you delay. Start with this simple combination today. Don't delay any longer. Begin with the full whole grain bread, hummus, and cucumber combination, and feel the difference in your energy levels and cardiovascular comfort within weeks. Remember, consistency matters more than perfection. Even having this powerful combination 4 times per week will begin to yield noticeable cardiovascular benefits. Though daily consumption provides the most protection against the frightening heart disease progression I've described. Here's your action plan to get started before another day of arterial damage passes. Week 1 to 2, consume the full combination. 2 slices, whole grain bread, 2 to 3 tablespoons hummus, cucumber slices, 4 times per week as a substantial snack or light meal. Week 3 and beyond, increase to daily consumption and track your blood pressure, energy levels, and cardiovascular symptoms. Track your progress by keeping a simple cardiovascular journal. Note your blood pressure readings if you monitor them, energy levels throughout the day, any changes in exercise tolerance, and overall cardiovascular comfort. This information will be invaluable for both your motivation and for fine-tuning your approach to maximize heart protection benefits. Remember, this powerful food combination isn't just about adding something healthy to your diet. It's about potentially saving yourself from the devastating cardiovascular events that kill more seniors than any other cause. It's about being able to actually maintain your heart health and circulation instead of watching them deteriorate, staying cardiovascularly strong enough to remain active and independent, and enjoying life without the constant fear of cardiac catastrophe that many incorrectly assume is just part of getting older. If you found this information valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with friends and family members who might benefit before it's too late for them too. Click the share button below this video to quickly send it to someone who could use this potentially life-saving cardiovascular information. Heart disease doesn't have to be faced alone, and simple, natural approaches like this are meant to be shared before the window of opportunity closes. And if something here made you stop and think about your heart health, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and click the bell immediately. Because if you like this cardiovascular protection information, what's coming next could be even more critical for your health. Next week, we'll be exploring the powerful morning combination that's helping thousands of seniors boost their immune system naturally, without dangerous medications or side effects. Can you really afford to miss that information? Your life may depend on it. If you enjoyed this potentially life-saving video, please give it a thumbs up and watch our next video for more critical health information you simply can't afford to miss.